I'm Jess Dakotas.
And I'm Nick Koziel. Welcome to That Sounds Terrifying, the podcast where we share terrifying stories, we share listener experiences, and we visit virtually some of the most haunted places in the United States and the world.
When we heard that we were going to be doing this show, we decided that we were going to put out there that we wanted local people to share their stories. And one person that I'm about to read reached out to me and said, I would like to share my story that happened when I was younger, that something I cannot explain. So I got this as a firsthand account. This is not a Reddit story. This is not something that, well, I can't exactly verify it, but I verified it as much as possible. She reached out to her aunt, and we will get started. Usually there's spooky music underneath, but I guess we're...
It's going to be really loud, so we decided not to do the really loud music.
Fair enough.
I do
All
have
right.
on your slide, so...
You do have this?
The ghost
Okay.
grandpa.
Nope, I need the mobster. There we go.
Okay, we're on the Mob Man.
The Mob Man. It's called the Mob Man. When I was younger, probably between 5 and 7, I felt like it was a dream memory. But I did get reassurance from my aunt the other day that this story is true. This really happened. We were at her house, and she was renting it in a town nearby. This house was actually owned by mobsters in the late 20s. My aunt always talked about how this house was a little spooky, a little haunted. She always felt weird vibes in it. And in her old study, the floor actually used to open up. And she would have me and my cousin, who was around the same age as me, crawl all around this space and be like, oh, help me find some treasure. It's a weird thing for an aunt to do, right? Just come on in under this creepy floor. It's going to be fine. But one night, I was staying with her, and I got up in the middle of the night, and she had a player piano in her study. It was one of those player pianos. It wasn't a wind-up. You had to plug it in, so it was electric. And one night, I was staying with her, and I got up in the middle of the night, and it's playing. So I went to wake up my aunt. I said, the piano keeps playing. So she goes downstairs, and she's like, oh, I don't hear the piano. But she unplugged it anyways, just in case. About 40 minutes later, I got up to use the bathroom. As I walk down the hall, I hear the piano playing again. And I again wake up my aunt and say, can you tell them to stop playing the piano? It's so loud, I can't sleep. But again, she had unplugged that piano. Nobody knows why it was still playing. The next day, I was playing hide and seek with my cousins. So there were 3 of us. It was my cousin T, myself, and my older cousin, who was about 12 or 13. I dragged my older cousin under the pool deck to hide. It was an above-ground pool, and you could access it through the little door on the side, and it just housed the mechanics to the pool. But I was very adamant that we had to go under the pool. So we were hiding, and I had brought a little toy shovel with me from a sandbox nearby. And my cousin asked, why are you bringing a shovel? And I said, I'm hunting for treasure. And I start digging in this random specific spot under the pool. And she's like, what are you digging for? And I said, I think I found it. And I dig a little more and a little more. And I dig up, I think it's a little bag. It was almost like a cloth napkin, and something was wrapped in it. And I kept exclaiming, I found it. And I gave it to her. She opens it up and realizes what it is and runs to my Aunt Tina. My aunt opens it up, looks at it, Her eyes go wide, and she calls for me. Lisa, come here. Where did you find this? And I said, he told me it was under the pool deck. Who told you? He told me, and I found it. I found it. I found it. As little kids do, just kept exclaiming over and over that I found it and that he told me where to find it. Who told you? The old man with a beard. He told me it was here, and I found it. When I asked my aunt recently about all of this, I asked her, what did you do with the gun that I found? It was an old, rusted revolver. She said that she thinks she called the cops, had them take possession of it. And she said that she doesn't know what happened to it after that, and she didn't want to know. Out of sight, out of mind. What I find interesting about all of this, my friend said, was that I didn't open that napkin. Imagine, I was between 5 and 7. I found something that I dug up and I didn't open it. I remember feeling like I knew I was not supposed to open it. I gave it to my older cousin, who gave it to my aunt, and that's how it was taken care of. I stopped here and just kind of asked her, do you have a memory of who told you this, what he looked like, anything from that night before? Because it was the night of the playing piano. And she said, he looked like just an old Italian man with a beard. And that's who you see up here, just a little rendition of some kind of Italian mobster with a beard.
The mob
man. And then I asked her, why would you think that the spirit would want you to find the gun? You're a child, right? Like, that's irresponsible. And she said, I think it was because I was more receptive than anyone else. And I was the only person he could talk to or get a hold of. And maybe a connection or something along the lines of that, children can they're more perceptive. So he was telling me in a kid perspective, because how else would I know to dig? And how would I know not to open that no matter what? And to open it to somebody, to hand it to somebody who was older than me. Then I kind of asked her, I wonder why he wanted it found. And she said, I think eventually that pool would come down and he wanted to keep it out of maybe some other dangerous hands. The end.
So when we have full podcast abilities, that's the sound you hear at the end of the tale.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So indubitably. Very interesting story, Jess. Gunplay with kids, great.
Yeah. At least you told her not to touch it.
At least everybody's 21 and older here,
Don't open it. Just hand it to somebody.
Yeah.
I wondered personally if maybe that was the gun that he was murdered with, and it was hidden there or something. But I didn't think about that till after, when I was kind of going through the story. But yeah, maybe he did. He wanted to just make sure that when the pool got taken down, somebody else wasn't going to find it. Dogs go digging or something, and it's an old gun. Maybe it could go off.
Right.
But I thought it was cool.
He's a safety ghost.
Safety ghost. Safety first.
Ghost. Yeah.
Mobster ghost.
Yeah, we just love mobsters that are safety ghosts, keeping guns in children's hands and making sure that they're safe. That's a great story, Jess. My tale I'm going to share is something that actually happened to me. It's a personal story. I have shared on the podcast before, but I kind of went back and rewrote it so that I can be a little bit more intelligent with the way that I shared it. It's called The Overnight Stay. So a few years ago, at the time, I was working as a general manager for a bed and breakfast and an old historic home that was said to be the second oldest building in town. It was actually a building that was built by the parents for children so they could live right next door. It's the kind of place that had charm, character, and if you listen to the locals, a few lingering spirits. We were short-staffed that season, and sometimes I'd have to stay overnight as a result. Normally I handled the big events like weddings and anniversaries and went home. But this particular weekend, we had guests checking in on the Saturday morning. So I decided that I'd stay at the house the night before to get ready. This way I could be up bright and early, greet the guests without having to make the drive in. So I heard rumors about the place before I had worked there, but I had never experienced anything in the months that I had been there working by myself. It was just another old building for me. That night, though, things really changed. It was late, and as usual, when I stayed somewhere new, it was hard for me to fall asleep. I was tossing and turning, kind of wide awake. So when I had gone up to the master's suite, I picked the biggest, most beautiful room because, like, why not? I'm going to be in luxury. So I had high ceilings, ornate woodwork, and this massive old-fashioned post bed. It looked something out of like a 1940s period film. So I laid there, kind of staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep to come, and that's when I felt it. Something brushed up against the back of my neck. It was light, like something barely touching me, just lightly touching my hair, and I froze. And I kind of told myself, it's just the pillow. Maybe it's a draft. It's my imagination. So I got up, kind of flattened the pillow out, rolled over, and tried to settle back down. And I laid there for a few minutes, and it happened again. But this time it was unmistakable. It was like this gentle sweep through my hair, a cold touch, but a touch of a human hand. That was it. Jumped straight up. My heart was actually pounding, and I was scanning the bed for bugs or anything that might have caused it. But the bed was so spotless. The whole place was spotless. This house didn't have as much as a spider web. Still, that chill down my neck stayed with me. So I got up and I said, I'm going to head downstairs, get a drink of water from the kitchen. So I just got to get out of the room. Maybe it'll clear my head. So as I walked down the staircase, I passed by this old rotary phone. And just as I stepped in line with it.
Ooh, that is loud.
Wow, sorry. Very loud, scary noise. That is exactly what happened to me. All of you that just jumped up like that, that is what happened to me. It was not that loud when I tested it out. I will not do another sound again. I do have it. I'm so sorry, but ha ha ha, you got scared. So the sound ripped through the silence of the house. I froze. Every hair on my arm stood up, and slowly I reached the receiver and lifted it to my ear. Hello? Nothing. Nothing but this strange, steady sound. It wasn't breathing. It wasn't static. It was just weird, low noise, like someone was listening on the other end. I said hello again. Nothing. Finally, I hung up, and I kind of muttered to myself and went downstairs to get that drink. When I came back up, I looked right at the phone as I walked by, and I said, I don't know who you are, what you want, but I just need to get some sleep. I need to get up early. Please just leave me alone. I got back in bed, and it took a while, but I finally drifted off to sleep. 5 a.m., my alarm went off, still pitch black outside. I got up, we're getting ready for the day, and passed by that phone in the hallway, and it rang again.
Ring, ring.
Same shrill, really loud freaking noise, and it picked up. I picked up the phone, soft, whispery, not human, but not quite mechanical either. I stayed in that room plenty of times after that. I've walked by that phone in the hallway, and it never rang like that again. I avoided walking too close to it just in case. In fact, I actually don't remember that phone ever ringing before. It was a phone that the staff could grab at the top of the stairs. The main phone was at the front desk right downstairs, and you could hear that ring. Later, one of our housekeepers told me the original lady of the house, Mabel, was still there, watching over things. She said she would sing while she cleaned, and sometimes she could feel Mabel humming along or talking to her. I don't know if it was Mabel or something else that night, but every time I walk by that old phone, I still half expect it to ring. And if it ever does, I sure as hell am not going to answer that again. So,
nice.
And I did have a picture for that, but of course, I didn't show it.
That's okay. You can show it now. Is it a phone?
No, it's the house.
Oh, it's the house.
So if any of you travel to the central New York area, it's the SUNY Cortland, Lynn Park's SUNY Cortland alumni house. So that's where I stayed.
Nice.
So Wickwire Mansion, it's beautiful. And usually it's a beautiful night stay. They don't actually do overnights anymore. So it's not as a result of this story, but
no, but Mabel,
they do weddings, and it's beautiful.
She didn't want you staying at her house.
Yeah, she did not.
What was that?
By a lot of like local people that worked there. They felt like they was haunted by previous people that had lived there. It also was a typical like Peary mansion where you had housekeepers staying with you, and some people thought it was one of the caretakers. Another quick story that I'll share about it, a secretary that worked in the alumni office was working with me one day up at the house, and she came around the corner and said, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Robin, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "I heard you calling me." I'm like, "I wasn't calling you." And she distinctly heard her name being called Robin. So, yeah. No. This was a place that I worked for a little over a year. We did weddings and events and things like that. And I took care of a couple overnights. It's a really nice bed and breakfast down in Central New York. It's beautiful grounds. So.
Can you imagine being a caretaker at a property and you die on the property and then they're like, well, I guess I'll just keep taking care of the property. Like, I don't want to, move on. I'm just going to keep making beds. And
yeah. I mean, Jess has talked about a cleaning ghost on our pad, guys.
Yeah, so my parents went to Gettysburg, and this is on our podcast, the whole story, but my mom kept waking up in the middle of the night or like waking up in the morning. I can't remember now, but she kept saying that she's like, wow, it looks like somebody made the bed while we were in it. Like the quilt at the end of the bed was still perfectly made at the end of the bed, and like just every time. And then she found out later that there was a housekeeper that was said to clean the rooms when people were sleeping. And just, I don't know, but apparently that's a thing.
We bring that ghost up a lot. We like constructive ghosts. Yes. We like to be haunted by things that clean up after us, or take care of things.
The dishwashing ghost, if anybody finds one.
We got a gun ghost now. That's cool.
The gun ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
childcare ghost.
The childcare ghost. We definitely need that.
I think your kids would probably listen. Yeah.
Spirit. Have you listened to our show? Because I've said that before. Scared
Nanny
straight.
Is a ghost.
Yeah. You want to go to your next one?
Grandpa.
Yeah, good old Grandpa spirit.
And then, if you hang out, we're going to play a game, right?
Yeah, we're going to do an audience activity, interactive. Mm-hmm. So you're not just listening to us chat.
So this is a short one as well. This story is about a spirit connection. So I downloaded this app called Spirit Talker, and I really want to emphasize before you use this app or before you open it, I want to say express your intentions, call in protection, and make sure that you're using it responsibly. What you're allowing in and what you're keeping out are very important, because it's literally like using a Ouija board, and you have to be very clear with your intentions with a Ouija board. So, regardless of what spiritual connection device you're using, I just recommend you emphasize your intentions. I was at work one night, and it was pretty dead, so I decided to open up my Spirit Talker app just to play with it, test it out. It was brand new. And I'm just talking, I'm getting a couple of names, really random, whatever. I don't know who these people are, but I also am not familiar with the place I'm in. And then I get a message, a full sentence, and it says, quote, "You're surrounded by love." And there's just something that kind of touched my heart in that moment. And I felt like, I'm going to look more into this later. So I got home and I opened up the app. I was a little concerned about opening it in my own house because, again, you're kind of kicking the door open and saying, anybody who wants to, come on in. But I emphasized my intentions again. And I got that message. You're surrounded by love. So I said, I'm surrounded by love, and I'm wondering who I'm surrounded by. It took a couple of minutes. There were a bunch of random messages at first, but all of a sudden I got the message, ship, like a boat, which I'm like, okay, I don't know what that could possibly mean. It's random. And then I get the message, I'm learning to use this. And I'm like, That's okay. And then I explain how to use the app to whoever I'm talking to. I say, you just talk into the app and it'll give me the words that you're saying. Very simple, right? And then I get the year 1970. And this was about a minute later. So I'm sitting there for a minute. I don't get anything. And then I get 1970s. So I asked, and I'm sitting there thinking, do I know anybody that was born or passed away in the 70s? My aunt was born in the 70s. So maybe they're talking about her. And then I start connecting some dots. I ask, is this one of my family members? Can you give me your name? And it says, Arthur. And Arthur was my grandpa who died in the 1970s when my mother was 6 years old. My face went white. My body went cold. I'm freaking out at this point. I don't know what to do. I'm waving my hands and I'm breathing real heavy. And then I realized something else. My mom always talked about her dad from what she could remember. And his favorite swear word that he would say quite a bit was shit. He wasn't saying ship at all. He was saying shit. I'm learning how to use this thing. So I paused for a minute and I thought about not being selfish because I was too scared. So I said, if I'm talking to my grandpa, is there something I can tell my mom and my two aunts, something that you would want them to know? And he popped 3 and the word lights. 3 lights. And then it pops up again. I'll always protect my lights. I told my mom the story and I asked, does the word lights mean anything to you in regards to you and your sisters? And she said, my dad would always sing to us, this little light of mine. 3 little girls, 3 lights. I'll always protect my 3 lights. It gives me chills to this day.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
That is a good one. That's not as terrifying.
It's not terrifying. And That Sounds Terrifying is not always terrifying. There's a lot of poignant stories that we tell.
Yeah. And you know what, that reminded me of a couple different stories that we've had, we've shared. My dad kind of came on the podcast. He shared some letters actually. Mm-hmm. And so we talk a lot about perception, and like Jess even mentioned about how children seem to be more open to spirits and more open to things that are going on. And my dad as a child used to see things. So one night he woke up and it was his grandfather sitting on the edge of his bed saying, "You're a good boy. I love you. You've been such a good boy." And he kind of got scared and freaked out, even though it was his grandfather and covered up the covers. And then when he took them down, they were gone. And then the next morning, I'm getting chills. My grandmother got a phone call, and my dad had just kind of come down, and she's on the phone. And my dad said, "Why was Grandpa in my room last night?" And she was on the phone with a relative saying that his grandfather had passed away. So he was visited and saw things. And there's been some times in my life where I have never seen anything. I don't know if I want to see anything. I kind of feel like I do, but I definitely have felt when family members have passed and gotten that phone call. So
yeah, definitely. I'm so glad your grandpa was a good boy.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't.
My dad. That was my dad. My dad was a good boy.
His grandpa at the end of his bed. At the end of the bed, you were such a little jerk.
Yeah.
Why was grandpa in my room chastising me?
You're telling me I suck,
Your grandpa's bad.
So,
sorry.
No, it's fine.
You're a
bad boy, and I don't want to ever see you again, and I'm trying to scare you.
share a quick paranormal story of their own? Yeah? Come on up. And it's told by a clown. Guys, there's nothing
this is
scarier.
great.
Porcelain dolls and clowns, not my fave. So, hi, what's your name?
Rich.
Hi, Rich. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
I'm going to give you the mic.
Thank you.
Tell us what's going on.
All right. This one was, this is something that actually personally happened to me. In 2005, I joined the United States Marines. The basic training that you do for the United States Marines happens in Parris Island, South Carolina. And a lot of the times, you spend a lot of your time just marching back and forth, place to place. You know, the drill instructor would be out in front on cadence. Low right, low right, low right, low right. And it was kind of an eerie thing, especially in the middle of the night when you're, getting back to the barracks. So one day, I just laid awake in my bed one time, and all I could suddenly hear was, low right, low right, low right, low right. I looked out my window, and I couldn't see anything at all. I was wondering what was happening. Later on in the day, the next day, I was told that other people heard it too, and everybody was wondering what was happening. Anyways, didn't really think anything of it until I got to my unit in Camp Pendleton, California, where I became interested in paranormal. I would go to the recreation centers on base and just look up, paranormal stuff. And one thing caught my attention was that back in the 1940s, there was a terrible accident that happened on Parris Island, South Carolina, back when the drill instructors were training some of the recruits. A bridge collapsed while they were out smoking. That was back in the day when recruits could actually smoke cigarettes. So the bridge collapsed, killed the drill instructor and a dozen or so recruits. And they say that ever since then, Parris Island, South Carolina, has been cursed. And since then, there have been drownings, suicides, and it's said that if you die in basic training in South Carolina on Parris Island, you'll end up becoming part of their ghost platoon.
Oh.
Just forever cursed to wander with the platoon in the middle of the night, going low right, low right, low right, low right. And that's the story.
Thank
you so much.
That was good.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Thank you for your service too.
Yeah, thank you. That was, again, you die as a house cleaner, you're a house cleaner forever. You die as in basic training, they're like, basic training forever. Sorry.
You gotta die in a good place. All right, I don't know.
If you die in bed, you get to sleep.
Yeah, just sleep.
Take a nap.
Jess and I also, and we also do improv. And one of the things that we wanted to do with you all today, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of AI Dungeon, but it's a cool little online tool where you can kind of do a choose your own adventure. And that's what we want to do with you tonight. And the theme of the story is the Curator's Carnival. So we kind of wrapped it around what's going on tonight. So, okay, I got this pulled up. That actually has never happened to me. Of course, live show, you're going to have all the different things.
Wow.
So I need a character name. So I need a name out of Joshua. All right.
It's a solid name.
All right. We need an age. How old is Joshua? 33. Oh, someone almost said 33 over there too. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
hive mind now. Here we go.
What is Joshua wearing as a Halloween costume? I might have to re-ask the questions.
Joker?
The Joker.
Joker
baby. Oh yeah, baby. All right. So do you want to read this?
Can I read?
I don't know. It's going to come up.
I don't know if I can.
Holy, whoa. That was a lot that came up there.
Okay. It's a crisp October night in Rochester, New York. The air smells faintly of cider, cold metal, and something older dust from artifacts that haven't seen light in decades.
AI is not taking over the world, guys.
The Rochester Museum and Science Center has transformed for its annual After Dark Carnival of Curiosities. String lights flicker over the courtyard, and the laughter of guests echoes against marble steps.
We have a courtyard.
You are Joshua, a 33-year-old guest drawn here for the promise of strange stories and stranger company. That's Nick. Nick's the stranger company.
Okay. All right.
You came dressed as Joker baby, hoping for a night of harmless scares, cheap drinks. Are they cheap? They're cheap.
When someone else buys them for you.
You were hoping
Right,
for the
Neil?
cheap drinks and maybe a story or two that you could tell later. But something feels off. The exhibits seem alive. The shadows between them twitch when no one's looking. And when the clock chimes 10, the crowd grows quiet, as if everyone's waiting for something. That's when he appears, the curator. His tall frame is draped in a dark overcoat, his gloved hands clasped behind his back, and his golden eyes gleaming beneath the brim of his hat. His smile is polite, practiced, and wrong. Welcome, he says softly. I see curiosity has brought you here, as it brings everyone, eventually. He gestures towards 3 exhibits, each bathed in an unnatural glow. The whispering graves of Mount Hope, rows of tombstones that hum with voices that you can almost understand. The observatory of the lost sky, a dome of glass where stars move in patterns that no astronomer could name. And the hall of vanished faces, portraits whose subjects seem to shift every time you blink. The curator tilts his head, smiling faintly. Every guest must choose where their story begins. So tell me, what do you choose?
The curator's words hang in the air, thick and expectant. As his golden eyes bore into you, the air grows colder, carrying the faint aroma of old parchment and something almost floral, like dried roses left too long in a box. Sorry, that is my wife's box of roses. Your skin prickles with unease. This isn't just a themed event. There's something real here, something ancient, coiled beneath the surface of this place. You glance between the 3 glowing exhibits. The hum of the whispering graves seeps into your bones, a low vibration that makes your teeth buzz. I don't even know what that means.
Try and get your teeth to buzz.
Okay. The observatory stars pulse with an unnatural rhythm, and their movements suggest something vast and unknowable. So which place do you guys want to go?
The observatory.
Okay. Spelling doesn't count. All right. Loading.
The moment you step into the observatory, the air shifts. The dome above swirls with stars that don't belong to any constellations you recognize. Well, that's good. I don't recognize most. They move in impossible patterns and spirals that stretch and contract like living things. Your breath catches as the glass feels cold against your skin, almost alive under your palm. The curator follows you inside, his boots making no sound on the polished floor. The stars, he murmurs, his golden eyes reflecting the strange celestial light, have watched more than we care to remember. His gloved hand gestures toward a telescope standing sentinel in the center of the room. Look, if you dare. You step forward, fingers tightening around the brass edge of the scope. And
What do you guys do? Look. All right. Well, that's easy. I can tie that with one hand. We're thinking.
You can do anything. You could smash the telescope. You could push him out of the way.
You can do whatever you want in this
Whatever you
thing. You
want.
could just say, screw this, I'm going home. The eyepieces press cold against your eye as you peer through the scope. The stars above swirl and expand, and they contract into a single burning point. Your breath catches. It's not a star at all. It's an eye, vast and burning gold, locked into yours with impossible intensity. The voice that seems to speak isn't in the room. It reverberates through your skull, ancient and resident. Seeker, you should not come here. You jerk back from the telescope, heart hammering. The curator watches you with the same patient smile, his golden eyes catching the starlight as he moves towards to stand by you. Fascinating, isn't it? He asked softly. The stars remember. Break the telescope.
Love it. Let's break it.
It's thinking hard.
Your fist connects with the telescope, metal screeching as gears pop and lenses shatter. She's so angry. The instrument collapses in on itself with metallic groan, brass fittings twisting like dying insects. The glass shards scatter across the floor, glittering like fallen stars that you don't even know the constellations of.
Yeah,
Sorry.
at all.
Like 8 times. The curator doesn't flinch. He merely watches as you pant, your knuckles aching from the impact. Interesting, he says at last, speaking in the same smooth, unhurried tone. You don't want to see. His smile widens slightly, but it sees you. A whisper of cold air brushes your cheek. The shards of glass on the floor begin to move, rolling together like magnetic filings. What do?
Punch the curator.
Kind of reminds me of like Coraline or something. This
Ooh,
close enough.
I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Okay.
Oh God.
Oh no,
Okay,
it's gonna
there
take seconds
we
too.
go. Pavanch, the
Pavanchta. It's like Polish.
You want to read it?
All right. My fist, or your fist, connects with the curator's jaw, the impact jolting up your arm. His head snaps back with an audible crack. That was cool.
Yeah.
But when he straightens, his smile remains intact. A thin line of blood appears at the corner of his mouth, black in the starlight. Ah, he says, wiping away with his gloves. So this is what you prefer. His golden eyes lock onto yours, and suddenly you're aware of how small you are in this vast room, how alone. The shards of glass rise from the floor, hovering in midair like miniature moons. You misunderstand, the curator continues, voice still eerily calm.
Do you want to ask?
Then tell me if you understand.
Yeah. Make me
I like make me
Yeah, I like that.
understand. This is such a bad idea.
We did this once before in another episode, and we punched the person too. in
We
that
did. We
episode.
punched
Yeah.
him. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he followed us.
We like
It was
punching.
Terrifying.
Oh, it's
No,
really
so
thinking.
he's-
Sorry, there's fire.
Yeah. The curator's smile falters. His golden eyes flicker with something darker. Perhaps surprise, perhaps recognition. Understand, he repeats, the words carrying an edge it didn't before. You truly want to know what this place is? The glass shards begin to orbit you, their edges gleaming like miniature razors. The starlight in the dome pulses faster, creating a strobing effect that makes the room feel like a carnival nightmare. The curator steps closer, his shadow stretching long across the floor. You are not the first to ask that question, he says, his voice lowering to a murmur. Most don't live long enough to regret it.
What do we do now?
You want to go get garbage plates?
Very Rochester and. Oh my God, I cannot type with one hand and hold a mic. People are going to leave now.
That's fine.
That's fine.
we have
If I just
7
wrote
minutes.
plates, AI would totally not get it.
No,
They'd be like,
it
what? Plates? Yeah.
Gonna
Should we go
be-
get plates?
Doesn't work.
Definitely. This AI is
Colloquialism.
definitely not from Rochester.
No.
So the curator freezes, the unnatural light catching the surprise on his face. His head tilts slightly, golden eyes narrowing. Garbage plates, he repeats, as if tasting the words. The hovering shards of the glass waver in their orbit around you. For a moment, the tension in the room shifts. The curator's face relaxes, his smile returning, though it's different now, almost amused. How pedestrian, he says, but he steps back, the shards following his movement like obedient pets. Very well. He reaches into his coat and produces a folded piece of paper, which he holds out. I feel like we need to continue. Let's just continue this. What the heck is he doing?
Yeah, press continue. That's an option.
Yeah, continue is an option. We forgot to give you all the options.
Where did it start?
Right here, black and...
Oh, black and blue is nearby. Tell them I sent you. They'll know what to do. What? It's a bougie curator. Murderer guy is like, nah,
man.
Go to black and blue. You take the paper, fingers brushing against his glove hand. His skin feels unnaturally cold, like holding a marble statue in the winter. The paper in your hand has an old-timey typewritten address, the ink slightly faded, as if it's been carried for years. It's Pittsburgh Plaza. Their meat is fresh. Rats. Voice now almost conversational, and the cheese is adequate. His smile widens, revealing teeth that are too white, too perfect in the starlight. Go, eat, and when you're done, if you still wish to understand, come back here. I think that's where we end.
Yeah, I think that's where we end.
Thanks for playing with us. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
If you're ever looking for a podcast to just like listen to in the car, I'm always in the car.
Yeah.
Where That Sounds Terrifying, and you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a listen, tell your friends, and if anybody has a scary story they want to tell, please let us know. You can reach out at thatsoundsterrifying@gmail.com or come see us. We're going to be hanging out the rest of the night too. And then we're going to get garbage plates and not adequate cheese and
not
black and blue.
adequate cheese and great fresh meat, which is kind. Where is he getting that meat? But thank you everyone for coming and staying with us. Yeah, definitely stay after. And if you have any questions, we'll be here to answer. But I think it's about that time, Jess.
That time. Oh, so we always
Tradition.
end our podcast with whether it's some kind of drink or ghost. So what's a good drink to end on? What was the signature drink tonight? It's like a...
I'm drinking bourbon. So.
Bourbon. Okay, we'll do
Sorry.
bourbon. That's fine. So whether it's bourbon or ghosts, keep your spirits up.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.